What's up guys, welcome back to the Sublimed eSkate channel. It's awesome to have you guys here again and welcome to another installment based on the Meepo company. This time is the Meepo M4 remote review and unboxing. Now as you can see, again, like a previous video, I'm in my car. That's because I'm just about to head off to Gosport in the south of the UK to go on a group ride with the South Hants eSkate boys. Now I'm going to be filming the last little section of my review whilst on the ride. I've been riding with this remote for a little time now. It's a brilliant remote, but you know what? You're going to hear about it later on, so I'm going to save that for then. Here is the unboxing. Here we are. It's got Ben written there. Meepo. Let's get this thing open. Very interested to see how big this thing is when it fits in my hand, if indeed this is what's in the box. I have also got two new motors coming from Meepo because me riding the way that I ride and riding very frequently, the motors had started to develop a clicking noise and one of these shafts snapped. However, Maria and one of the other ladies at Meepo were kind enough to sort the issue out for me very swiftly, and I have got two motors on the way. So at the moment I am borrowing the two rear motors from my friend's V2 as well as the 3D factory conversion kit with the 6.5 inch Tramper pneumatic tyres, and I'll tell you now, it is the smoothest ride I've had on an eSkate so far. But again, that's not what we're here for. We're here to see what's in this box, and as predicted, we've got the M4 remote, so let's jump straight into that, shall we? Here we are, that is the M4 remote just there guys, in its box. Got something else here, I'm not sure what that is. And what looks like a load of fixings. Get that out of the way. Get out of the way. Right. I want to open this first, see what's in there. Ah, right, so I wasn't expecting this. I've got a completely new ESC unit. You guys want to have that? Well, that definitely looks different to the current one in my V3. That's cool. I'm not sure why I have that, but that's cool nonetheless. I will replace it and see if it gives me any extra power, any extra torque. Nice professional. Got a little instruction sheet here, and by the looks of it, the information that's going to be stored on this remote is a lot more detailed than on the previous remote, which actually I have right here. So this is my original remote, the one that came with my V3. And here we have, if I can get it out of the box, the M4 remote. Look at that. Now at first glance, it looks nice, it looks well made. I'd say it looks better made than the previous one, which you can see the seams where the cast plastic has been put together. On this one, the seam is almost invisible, it's a much tighter fit. As you can note, and I will put a picture up for comparing them, the two screens are very, very different in size and the orientation as well. The biggest problem I found with this old V3 remote is when holding it, my fingers ended up covering the screen, and I ended up looking like this close to my face to try and find out how fast I was going. Not a huge issue, but you want to kind of keep your eyes on the road. So I'm predicting that with this remote, that's not going to be an issue. It's a much bigger remote, it's landscape as opposed to portrait, and yeah, I think that it's going to be a lot more legible whilst you are bombing it down the road at 30 miles an hour. Let's have a little turn on here, shall we? So turn it on, you get the Meepo logo there, and it's now saying disconnected because I have not connected it to my board yet. I'm very interested that this has been included in the pack actually guys. I'm not sure why. But hey ho, let's go stick it in the board and see what happens. Right guys, so we're about to have a look at the actual remote itself, as you can see in the video in front of you right now. Now the biggest improvement by far for me from the original remote that it came stock with my V3 is this. The screen. That is an incredibly well thought out and well designed screen as far as I'm concerned. Compared to the old one, this is leaps and bounds better. Now if you look a little bit closer, Right up the top here, we have the odometer, which is the mileage gone on the current ESC. So currently, I have done 797 miles according to the ESC that I've got installed there. Now, along the left-hand side here, this is your speed. So those of you who are Meepo riders and have the old remote will know that it used to go from low through to pro, and that is the same with the braking, whereas now it is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that is so much easier on the eyes to read whilst you're bombing it down the road at 30 miles an hour. I cannot explain how much easier this screen is to read. It's so much more practical, and I think any of you guys that do end up purchasing this product will realise for yourself that the practicality that comes with this landscape rather than portrait orientated screen is, you just can't beat it. It is absolutely phenomenally thought out. So do you know what, well done Meepo there, good thought process, you pulled your finger out there, brilliant job. Now on the bottom of the screen here, you'll have, this is the T, and you've got 0, 0. This is the gauge for how far you have gone on your current trip. So currently I'm sat at my mum's desk at home, and we have gone 0 miles at 0.0 miles. So on the right hand side here, this is the battery indicator for the board, which is fully charged as you can see. And on the left hand side, that is the battery indicator for the remote. And as you can see, my remote does need a little bit of a charge. I'm heading out on a group ride tomorrow, so we'll plug this bad boy in before we go out. Up on the top right corner here, this is the direction of movement. So if you had the remote in your hand like this is telling you that you're currently going forwards. If you are in reverse, the arrow would be pointing downwards towards yourself, so on and so forth. To try and change the speed mode, all you have to do is press the function here. As you can see guys, that is really, really obvious, really easy to read. When you're going down the road, again at 30 miles an hour, you don't want to have to be peering up to your screen really close to your face. You want to be able to see it bright and clear. You don't want to take your eyes off the road to be able to read the remote that is actually controlling your board. And I think that a lot of thought process has gone into this, because that is the problem that I definitely had with my old remote. But that problem has definitely been overcome with the M4. So that's a thumbs up to Meepo from me there, and a thumbs up to the M4 remote. Now, similar to the old remote, or not even similar, exactly the same, to change your braking mode, pull down back on the trigger into the brake position and press the function. And as you can see there, you got the brake and then whatever mode you are in. So because we haven't got low, medium, high and pro, it's now 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1 being the softest braking mode, 4 being the most aggressive, and vice versa with the acceleration. 1 being the slowest mode and 4 being the highest mode that you can get to. Now, say if you wanted to run your remote in kilometers an hour or miles an hour and it was already set to kilometers an hour, if you hold both buttons down, the function button and the power button, you get this screen. And with just a flick of the trigger, as you can see, it's changing from kilometers an hour to miles an hour. And I want to go back to miles an hour for mine, and we'll keep it as that. Simply press the power button again, and then you can turn it on. All in all guys, I think this has been a very, very, very well thought out product from Meepo. It's an upgrade and a half to their previous remotes that came stock with boards. So it doesn't just stop there guys, the comfort and the fit of this remote is absolutely brilliant, and this is another thing that's been thought out. The shape and the design is very, very ergonomical. So if I were to hold this in my hand like this, as if I was riding, you're never going to have your hand crossed over like this, which, okay, granted, would indeed cover up the screen. However, we're all e-skate riders here, we know how we ride. We ride with our thumb up here, because we either need to brake or to accelerate. So really, you're never ever going to have any obstruction of that screen down here, and that is a really a big win again for me, because I used to have to lift this remote up to my face, take a couple fingers out the way, and then try and decipher what the screen was trying to tell me, which was really poor in any sort of high lit environment. Now that again is where this screen just blows this out of the water. Look how bright that is. Even on my camera now, the camera's not struggling to pick it up. It's easily able to read the data that's displayed on the screen there, and we have no problem deciphering or understanding the information that is being given to us at the time. There's a few other really small details, but it actually does go a long way in making this remote a massive upgrade to the previous one, and that is just overall quality. I've already mentioned it in the unboxing. Have a look at the seam here. This is a nice, tight, well thought out cast plastic case that they have done here. It's got a matte finish to it, it's almost slightly rubbery to the touch, and it fits really, really nice in the hand. It feels nice to hold. It doesn't feel like you're holding a solid bit of plastic that is uncomfortable. It's ergonomically shaped to hand. You've got, I guess, a trigger here or a rest for your trigger finger or your index finger, and your thumb nicely sits on top of that trigger just there. And one other thing in terms of the quality and the design, little things, but an upgrade from the previous remote, this metal bar here. Now on the previous remote, it was just part of the plastic that was grooved in that you would loop, well not you, it would already come pre-installed, but that Meepo would loop this this small strand here that holds on the lanyard, if you like, or the wrist strap. That would just be plastic, whereas this is actually a small metal bar that has been integrated into the design, and I think that, you know, that just shows that Meepo have really thought through this design. It's not a product that they've thrown together in a couple of days. It's something that they've sat down and they thought about in great detail, and that really shows with the end product. Now, this is 100% available on their website at the time of making this video. I haven't got the price off the top of my head, however, it is not breaking the bank. It is definitely a reasonable price for this sort of quality remote, especially to upgrade or to have as a spare for your board. But if you were getting it as a spare, I would urge you to pair this one to your board and keep your original one as the spare, and use this as your day-to-day go-to remote, because you cannot fault this remote at all. It is absolutely brilliant. Right guys, we're currently riding down Fareham bus route. As I said earlier on in the video, we've got the Southhand Seascape boys with us today, and the last one, Dominic. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the Meepo M4 remote, which I absolutely love. Honestly, there's very few things I can fault about this remote. The way it feels in your hand is brilliant. It's very similar to the old boosted style of remote. Slightly bigger than the last one, as you did see a photo earlier on in the video, and you've seen the two compared next to each other. There is a big difference in the size and the shape of the remote, and that is a significant improvement on the previous model. Just stopping for a red light. Now, the biggest thing I love about this remote is the bigger screen. It's so legible, even when you're firing down the road at 30 miles an hour, or 40 like Dom just passed me at. Look at that creeper behind me. It's so much more legible. When you change your speed mode with the function button, it brings up the speed mode that you're in really big letters that overtakes the screen, so you've got a really, really good gauge of how fast you're going, and then also what speed mode you're moving into. So there's no guesswork, there's no bringing it up this close to your face, hold it out in front of you, full arm stretched, absolutely fine, fully legible. Now, as I said earlier on in the video, Meepo have sent me this remote for free on the premise that I'd make a review about it, but might I add, an honest review. It's not a paid promotion. I'm not accepting any payment for this other than the product itself, and as I have done and as I will continue to do, it is an honest review. But that honest review honestly is that you need to get this remote if you are a Meepo rider. If you have all the struggles that I used to have, with it being too small, not being able to read the remote screen, and all in all probably just wrecking the remote you already had, don't go and buy the same one. Get the Meepo remote. I can't remember exactly what it is on their website, but I think it's around $60. Like the old remote, it does have the cruise control, it does have the ability to change the wheel diameter if you put the 100mm hubs on there, or if you already do have the 100mm hubs on there. All in all, which is a very versatile remote compared to the original stock one that you get when you buy the board. Now the other thing that they did send me as well, with the remote, not with the motors, was the new Meepo 6.5 ESC. Loud bastard. Was a new Meepo 6.5 ESC. Now that ESC is so much better manufactured than even the Meepo 6, which is a brilliant ESC by the way. It's what I was using before it came my V3. I'm now using the 6.5. It is filled in with some sort of a glue or epoxy resin, which makes the heat dissipation that much better. That means that you can ride for longer, especially if you've changed out the battery to a new one. It means that you don't have to worry about that ESC heating up stupidly. The only negative is they've taken out the light port, which means that you can't plug lights straight into the ESC and have them controlled by the ESC. But let's be honest, who does that anyway? We all just put thread lights on and we rock it like that. All in all, guys, the Meepo M4 remote is an absolute must-have. I would recommend that to anybody who's a Meepo rider, whether you've got the NLS Pro, the all-wheel drive, the Campus Mini, the Meepo Mini, whatever the hell you've got. Get the M4 remote, and believe you me, all of your issues that you had with the remote before will be solved. The only issue that is still there is the blooming thing that the light for the connection blinks instead of stays solid. Now, to any sane-minded person, a solid connection light would mean that you have still got connection, right? However, in Meepo's world, a blinking connection light means that you have got connection, and if it is solid, it means that it's not connected. Well, to be quite honest, it doesn't even get that. You get, on this remote, you get a massive, massive disconnected sign. Anyway, guys, that's a wrap. We're waiting for, oh no, we're not. He's right there. Get the M4, guys. You won't regret it.